Everybody needs a little beacon like a fire in the night. So I'm working on believing that it could be me, that I could be the light. I'm not afraid, I am unbreakable. I'm not afraid, I am unshakable. I'm not afraid to be the light. La Yehudim hayta ora, La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason bikar. Yai nai 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 nai, 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 Yai nai 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 nai. I know that you're with me, I can feel you in the corner of my mind. So I'm taking what you're giving and I'm using it to help me be the light. I'm not afraid, I am unbreakable. I'm not afraid, I am unshakable. I'm not afraid to be the light. So from now on, I'll give the best of me. Yesterday's gone, a new one's ahead of me. So from now on, I'll be the light. La Yehudim hayta ora, La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason bikar. Yai nai 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 nai, 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 Yai nai 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 nai, Yai nai 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 nai.
Good evening, good evening. Shabbat Shalom. It is a pleasure to be together on this kind of dreary Pittsburgh evening. We've kind of been lulled into a false sense of what good looks like with 70-degree days in February. And so when we get a March day that looks like a March day, it kind of feels icky. Makes it even better to get to be here with each of you as we welcome Shabbat, as we welcome one another, as we welcome a bat mitzvah, as we welcome members of our 6th grade class, as we welcome Shabbat. Our service begins this evening on page 10. We invite you to join us.
See what's inside.
you were with us for Havdalah last week, you learned Murphy's Law of the Beit HaT'filah is that whenever something can go wrong, it will. Tonight's particular challenge, particularly for those of you who are joining us at home, is we have lost the camera that allows you to see the entire bima. For those in the room, you may be wondering why I moved the candles from their normal right in the middle spot to right up here. And it's because I want to make sure that everyone who is joining us online, wherever they may be, gets to see and gets to celebrate along with us, as it is my pleasure to invite Naomi forward as she prepares to celebrate her bat mitzvah tomorrow. Let me move this over here with you as well. Friends, if you have a prayer book, would you turn to page 2 as we kindle the lights of Shabbat in their new extra tall location? It all works. Please. Make sure you're holding the candle too, because I don't want it to go falling out on you. Good work.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner,
Welcome to be seated. And it is a pleasure to invite forward some of the members of our 6th grade class to join us, to lead us in Kiddush. This prayer can be found on page 5 in your prayer book as we recognize and welcome the sweetness of Shabbat. It's only grape juice, whoever's holding the cup. We're on page 5. If it's comfortable for you to do so, I would invite you to rise. 6th grade, come on up here.
Just make a circle around the camera. Sierra says. You gotta get in between people. Oh, sorry. I want to get everybody.
Ready? Okay, all join together, top of page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Givanu v'charta, v'tanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodeshecha, v'ahava uvratzon, inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Hi. Amazing. Thank you so much. You are welcome to be seated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. All right, please, everyone is welcome to be seated. All right, it's a moment of truth. While our 6th graders were wonderfully leading us in that prayer, I was futzing with the camera. Let's find out. Here we go. Victory. We're here in person. Fantastic. The candles are there. Cantor Sierra is right over there, and we're ready to welcome you into Shabbat. Friends, recognizing the light of those candles can now be seen by all, we invite you to turn in your prayer book. We are on the bottom of page 14 as we continue, Or Zarua that Tzaddik, light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. Continue now, pages 20 and 21, as did the mystics of our tradition. They imagined that Shabbat could be here with us, to be seated among us, to be part of us, as we welcome this day of rest, this day of peace, this day of joy. Words of Lecha Dodi on pages 20 and 21 welcome Shabbat. And indeed, when we make it to the final stanza, we'll invite everyone at that time to rise, that we might imagine ourselves turning to the doors to greet Shabbat itself. Pages 20 and 21.
La
תלת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה.
Prior to the service, some of our sixth graders and their families were talking about some of their favorite recipes for Shabbat. And they started to make challah. That'll be ready to take home after services tonight. What do you do with leftover challah? Are you a French toast person? A bread pudding person? Or you've never actually had the problem of having leftover challah? Would you take this opportunity, turn to the people around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, tell them what would you do if you happen to have leftover challah? Are there other alternatives I'm not thinking of? I truly hadn't thought about croutons. Does anybody prefer No. Friends, you are welcome to be seated as we continue our welcoming. Having welcomed Shabbat, having welcomed one another, we turn to page 24 in our prayer book, welcoming God's ministering angels to this space, to this time with us as well. Page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei
In the middle of page 27, would you join us in the English? Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabba Ba'arvit Romam Veit Raser, Veit Adar, Veit Alev, Veit Halom, Shem Beit HaKodashah,
Baruch Hu.
Le'elamin kol virchato v'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damira Ne'olama,
V'imiru. Amen.
Our service continues, page 28. Our Baruch Hu praise, the formal entry to our prayers this evening. If it is comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to rise in body and spirit as we join together, page 28. Continuing with an interpretive version of the prayer on page 30, our Ma'ariv Aravim praise. The Hebrew, when we get there, can be found 9 lines down in the prayer.
Mavdil bin yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Haravim.
And together in the English on the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, pages 34 and 35. Unless you are Naomi, you are welcome to be seated as we continue with our Ve'ahavta praise and a preview of coming attractions for tomorrow's service. We continue page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu Hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinat בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וכשלתלמיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We were blessed to have our 4th grade class with us last Shabbat. And when our musician in residence, Jacob Spike Krause, said, "Do you know what holiday is coming up?" the first young person said, "Passover." And he was right. It is coming up, just not quite there yet. Perhaps in honor of that answer, we have a chair for Elijah that you've probably been wondering. We have a chair for our percussionist for our next prayer. Liam, would you join us as we continue in our service? We are on page 40. Passover is indeed coming. Before we get there, though, we have the holiday of Purim, which you will hear more about throughout our service this evening. For now, though, we turn to even more familiar words, these words taken from Exodus chapter 15, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God, among those that are worshipped. Our service continues on page 40.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh norah tehilot
Thank you, Elijah. Thank you, Liam. On page 43, our service continues with our Hashkivenu praise. Would you join me in the bottom of page 43? Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. It's likely that each of us entered this space with something that happened in the past week that we're just ready to leave behind, something that we don't need to carry with us into Shabbat, our day of rest and our day of peace. I'd invite you to take just a moment to think about what those things are that you really don't want to drag with you into this day of our joy and gladness. To set those things aside. We'll have to return to them when Shabbat is over, but for this period to take the opportunity to breathe into, to welcome the covenant that is Shabbat, we sing together the top of page 44, excuse me.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים את הארץ. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue now with our Amidah, found beginning on page 46. As I invite everyone to rise, I invite forward members of our 6th grade class. You're welcome to the front now that the cameras are working, a little more space to spread out as we join together in this series of prayers beginning on page 46. That works too. All right, you ready? Yep. In 3, 2, 1. Murphy's Law, friends, may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elokei Avotenu Imotenu Elokei Avraham Elokei Yitzchak Elokei Yaakov Elokei Sarah Elokei Rivka Elokei Rachel Elokei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Ha'gibor V'Ha'el continued apologies for those who are at home for our camera snafus this evening. I'm glad you were at least able to see some of our amazing 6th grade class as they led us in the beginning of the Amidah. The remaining blessings from this section of our service can be found through page 60. I would invite you to use the traditional words of prayer, or perhaps the silent prayers and meditations that can only come from each of our own hearts. And when you have finished your prayer, your silent prayers, we invite you to be seated. Continue with an evening prayer for peace, the words of which can be found on page 60. We turn now in our prayer books to page 253. On page 253, we find our Mishaberach Lecholim prayer for healing. There are those you are thinking of in need of healing, of mind, of body, of spirit. I invite you to share their names with the congregation if you're comfortable doing so.
John Paul Mahosky, Lenny Shore. Jennifer Kitson. George Carmel.
Scott Zezzo.
Don Ruffling and the Ukrainian people.
Also Ukrainian people. Ray Blazer. Elizabeth. Marvel Rose. John Isler, Rod Keener, Mike. Mary Hoffman. Sam Turban.
Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to all who are ill. And together we say, Amen. Page 253.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
More than just the pretty voices on display, as our sixth graders have been working hard to learn the service as part of their Jewish education, so too have they been thinking critically about our sacred texts, what they mean, and how we might apply their lessons to this day and age. And so it is an honor at this time to invite forward members of our sixth grade class to lead us in a Devar Torah, a words of teaching this evening. Come on up here.
Go ahead. You want to say it at the end? Okay. Well, we had them do a tour, help with the Devar Torah, because for their bar bat mitzvah, they're going to need to look at the Torah portion for the week and find a lesson to teach everyone. And so we wanted to give them a good practice at that. So this week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh, comes from the same root or shoresh from the words mitzvot and vitzivanu, which means command, sarivavhe. It spells out what special clothing the high priest or the Kohanim must wear when performing special rituals and services for the Jewish people. So why is this important? Does it really matter what we wear? So we polled our students, and here's a few things of what they came up with.
Some of us think it's not important because it's our idea, it's our choice, our style, and it's a chance to be ourselves.
We shouldn't have an obligation to be like others, but at the same time, we want to fit the occasion better for our safety or job we are performing.
Others think we should be more comfortable, and if we feel good in our clothes, we will be more confident.
Yes, it does. It is important because it's an opportunity for us to show respect for everyone there and be closer to God.
We also want to be able to be appropriate for the occasion and not feel left out of place.
Often the clothing we wear makes a statement about our values and how we want others to perceive us.
But most importantly, what we wear can make the situation feel more special.
Like the infamous debates of Rabbis Hillel and Shammai, there can be differing opinions, but Adonai wanted the people to know that these are special rituals, and the clothing of the people who perform them, the Kohanim, delineates the importance of their responsibilities. You know, this isn't going to necessarily be seen at home, and it isn't big, but one of the things is they had to have gold and blue and purple and crimson yarns and fine linen, and they had to wear a piece that would go across their forehead that would say, Holy to Adonai on it, and all of these beautiful vestments. So we looked at whether you should or shouldn't wear special clothing for the occasion, but certainly Adonai felt that was important for our Kohanim performing special rituals to have special clothing. And thank you, 6th grade, for coming up with great ideas.
Thank you all. It's wonderful to think about how the clothing we wear might matter, particularly as we head into a holiday where our clothing matters. There is a long tradition of dressing up in silly attire for the holiday of Purim soon to come. I'm not entirely sure who picked Marvel characters, but it was very hard to remain body positive as my extra large spandex Spider-Man suit didn't quite get the job done, as unfortunately some of you will have to see at the Purim Carnival on Sunday. I have shorts, don't worry. The clothes we wear changes how we feel as we enter any moment. It allows us to be serious. It allows us to be silly. It allows us to embrace each and every occasion. The holiday of Purim also contains some much more serious themes, and particularly this year, while challenges in the world and challenges for the Jewish community loom heavily on our hearts. To have the opportunity to tell again the tale of Purim, a tale of overcoming long odds for Jewish survival, somehow resonates even more this year. And indeed, a particular line, as Jacob pointed out last week, as we want to do so again this week, when Mordecai and Esther are talking, when she's working up the courage to go to the king to save her people, she recognizes that this is a liminal moment in her life, a quite literal do or die. She's worried, she's afraid, and Mordecai says, perhaps it was for this very moment that you were put in this position. Perhaps it is for now that you are the right person at the right time. You are the person who we so desperately need. It's a reminder to all of us as we face the challenges of this world, particularly when it starts to feel overwhelming, that sometimes we are in the right place at the right time, and though we may not feel up to the challenge, if we but dig a little bit deeper, we can find it within ourselves to do great things. We have a special musical setting for you this evening that brings to bear these words. We'd love to share it at this time.
Mi יודע אם לעת כזאת הגעת למלכות. מי יודע אם לעת כזאת הגעת למלכות. You did not ask
We turn in our Sidorim and our prayer books now to the bottom of page 282. Page 282, as we continue with words of Aleinu the Shabbat. I would invite you to rise if it is comfortable to do so. You may be seated. This time in our service, we remember those who have gone before us. We mourn the recent passing of Mildred Millie Klein and observe the period of Yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Arnold Breslow, Elliot Berlin, Sadie Bondy, Morris Murray Bronin, Fanny Kessler Burwasser, Moses Burwasser, Rita Calgaro, Ben Karp, Ruth London Shell, Seymour Cy Clark, Jacob Cohen, Lenore Drabkin, Alexander Ellenbogen, William B. Erlanger, Joseph H. Field, Herbert C. Fishman, Gilbert Fleischman, Eugene Foster, Morris Freed, Jean Gordon, Israel Jerome Graff, Jules David Greenspan, Dexter W. Haven, Samuel Horlick, Boris Isco, Henry Kantrowitz, Selma Abrahams Kaplan, Cyrus Connie, Jeremy Robert Kindler, Samuel Levinsky, Seymour Cy Levinson, Lois Levy, Annette Locketts, Judge Maurice Lewick, Ann Lumish, Irene Meniglia, Jesse Marcus, Rabbi Sanford Marcus, Abraham Morris, Ruth Moss, Al Olshansky, Alan S. Pinsker, Irving Popkin, Marie Richards, Ray Sauer Rostalski, Adam Mark Rubin, Sarah Sadowski, Lena Samowich, Minnie O. Saul, Diane Schaffler, Frank Schatz, Lillian Scheffler, Harry A. Sobel, Celia Trachtenberg, Rebecca Watzman, Edith Weiskopf, Philip Weiner, Gladys Wintner, Gertrude Woodell, and Erwin Zieger. If there are others you are remembering at this time, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I would invite you to share their names at this time.
Faye Neff.
Yehei zichronam livracha, may the memory of our loved ones remain with us as an everlasting blessing. Words of Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's prayer, can be found on page 294. And I would invite you to rise as together we mourn and support those who do. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barich hu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. You may be seated. A number of thank yous for participation in our service this evening to our amazing 6th grade class. Thank you for all that you have done to be our teachers of Torah and our leaders of prayer, and to their esteemed leaders, Ms. Fried, Ms. Riveri. A pleasure to have you educating the next generation of the Jewish people. Tremendous thank you to you, Sierra, for leading us in song and prayer. Jim, as always, thank you so much. Naomi, can't wait for tomorrow. You're going to be awesome. It's good stuff. And to all who have joined us, we invite you to join us for a nosh immediately following our closing prayer, which you can find in your prayer book on page 336. Page 336. For those at home, I wish we had a cookie for you, but hopefully you have a tasty treat to welcome in the joy of Shabbat as well. For the Jews there was light and joy, gladness and honor. So too may it be for us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.